don't know what to expect when you have your first of what will be many constituent town hall meetings, but this is amazing. So thank you. Thank you for coming out, and thanks for giving me your time. Certainly I know what will be your concerns and your questions. I want to first thank the Girl Scouts. That was fabulous. It's always nice to see the next generation of leaders who are coming up, especially when they're young, amazing young women. Thank you. And I want to thank Isabella Cole, who I had the privilege of meeting on the campaign, as she mentioned, at the March for Our Lives, when I was with not only my mom and my sisters, but my 2 young daughters. And it is so great to see, and I had a first row seat last year, so many young people coming off the sidelines in droves and taking an active role in what was a very important campaign. So thank you, Isabella. I know we're just getting started in terms of what you're going to accomplish in the world. So it's an honor to be here. It's an honor to be here at my first town hall. It's an honor to serve you as a member of Congress down in Washington. It's something I still wake up every single day and just consider the biggest honor, the greatest honor of my life. During the campaign, I ran on the promise of delivering for this district. And I hope that you all know that I very much consider this job here. We spend a lot of time getting around to every corner of the district, working with communities, community leaders, mayors, city managers on what their economic development needs are, what their infrastructure needs are, what those nonprofit groups need in the way of federal funding to fill in so many gaps that exist today for families in need. And we also meet with a lot of constituents. We pick up the phone every single day and we learn of a new problem that exists. Some of them are familiar to us, but many of them are new. We do a lot of work with the families who are affected right now by the Columbia gas explosions and mitigating those claims with Columbia gas. But then we work on making sure people have their veterans benefits, making sure people aren't stuck in the Social Security system, making sure people have their immigration needs met. And so I'm really proud of the team that we've assembled, both here in the district as well as in Washington. So many of them are standing here today, so I would urge you at the end of this town hall to definitely get to know them. And if you have concerns or if you want to have meetings in the office, let's make that happen. It would be great next steps for us. So Isabel mentioned that I'm proud to serve on 2 committees. I mean, so much of what you do as a member is done on your committee. So the committee assignments are very, very important. You spend a disproportionate amount of time there. And the Armed Services Committee is not only important to protecting our men and women in uniform, but also making sure that we are secure in the way of cybersecurity, national security. Interesting, it wasn't looking good for Ed and Labor, which is a committee I talked a lot about last year. Someone who went through public schools and needed a scholarship in order to go to college, and just opening up more practical paths of education was something that I believed in. I really got hyper-focused on getting on that committee, but it was a competitive committee because I wasn't alone in terms of wanting to be on it. But we're persistent, as many women in elected office are. And we did. We got on that committee. And what's happening on that committee? It feels like home. We've already marked up school rebuilding, which is federal funds that is so badly needed to repair our failing schools as part of a broader infrastructure package. So I'm really hopeful that that's actually going to move in this Congress. We've marked up federal minimum wage, getting to $15 like the state of Massachusetts has. Yes. We've also had hearings and marked up paycheck fairness, equal pay for equal work. And we'll look, yes, I know there's a lot of clap lines on this committee, I have to tell you. It's why I'm so proud to serve on it. And we've also introduced legislation for paid leave, a national paid leave policy. And certainly, we're going to continue these hearings, making sure that our teachers get the pay that they deserve, making sure that we're properly funding in elementary and secondary education, and continuing to fight for college affordability. So I'm really excited about the work being done on that committee. We've also had some wins on the House floor. Many of you know that there's nothing quite like taking your oath of office in the middle of a government shutdown. It kind of takes the momentum out of an exciting day, because what you realize is as people are leaving the room, you have to open up the government. I mean, that is your job. And we did for 27 days. File legislation, pass legislation, put pressure on the Senate, tell the stories of people who were affected by the shutdown, whether it was working without pay or being forced to work, working without pay or being locked out of their jobs. We told those stories, and that brought the shutdown to an end. But then we immediately followed that with H.R. 1, which was a sweeping government reform package, one that addressed the dark money in our political system that we so badly need to get rid of. It also passed a bunch of reforms in terms of ethical standards and how we're going to hold our elected officials to high ethical standards. And finally, getting rid of all those obstructions to our voting rights. And so it was a very proud moment. It's always a proud moment when you get to stand there and listen to Congressman John Lewis remind us of why we need voting rights and restore the Voting Rights Act in this country. And so many of the freshmen who I was sworn in with ran on reform. And so it was an important first piece of legislation to pass. We were able to pass 2 amendments as part of H.R. 1. There wasn't a lot missing from that bill, but there were a couple things. One was giving voting rights to military families who are deployed and might not be living at home through absentee ballot. And another was making sure that no foreign national, no foreign interest could serve on an independent redistricting commission. We also had a legislative win by bringing over the last 10 yards passage to protect the Nashua River, something that Congresswoman Tsongas worked really hard on the last Congress, part of the biggest land and water conservation package this Congress. So I was really proud to be a part of that as well. Yeah. So I think I'll leave with one other thing before we open it up to questions, because I really want this to just be a dialogue amongst 200 people and me. But when I ran, I took a pledge not to take corporate PAC money. It was an important pledge to take. There is obviously an erosion of trust and faith in our government, and we want to do everything that we can to restore that trust in our elected officials. And there isn't a day that goes by that I'm not reminded that there's some lobbyist or some special interest group that would love me to not have that pledge in place. They don't think it's important. But I ran with a bunch of other members who thought it was as well. And it's the reason why we were able to get the momentum and get the passage of H.R. 1 and restore government back to the people. I take Article 1 very seriously. The fact that Congress is a separate and co-equal branch of this government, and making sure that we, make that branch of government for and by the people. So that's why I'm with you here today. That's why I plan to do many, many more of these over the course of this year and next year. But this is what it's all about. I'm your representative. I really look forward to hearing your thoughts, your concerns as we go into this legislative session. I really look forward to channeling those thoughts and concerns in my role down in Washington. And I look forward to your questions. Thank you so much. One does get all the attention because it's one. But really, there are a bunch of HR. Well, you know that you're important and you're a real priority when you've got an HR single digit, right? HR 8 was another piece of legislation that I couldn't be more proud to, 1, originally co-sponsor, and 2, to see pass the House. It is the universal background check legislation. Yeah, long overdue. It's long overdue legislation, but I have to tell you, I have the privilege of serving with Congresswoman Lucy McBath from Georgia, who lost her son to gun violence, and hearing her impassioned plea for doing this most basic reform, right? This, which we had bipartisan support for, and that was why it was such a proud moment, is because Republicans joined us in passing that bill. There's so much more to be done, and we know that. I think we're all a little envious when the Prime Minister of New Zealand, within 6 days of a major tragedy, outlawed all weapons of mass destruction and assault weapons in her country. And I'm proud to co-sponsor the companion legislation in the U.S. House, banning assault weapons. But we took one big step, and it was an important step, and we're going to continue to build on that. Please, I encourage you to call. I mean, this is a group, Moms Demand Action, which I was a part of, March for Our Lives, which is where I met Isabella, and so many people call our office on a daily basis around legislation that's being introduced that you want me to sign on to, and you have me as an advocate. These are reforms that we need to protect our communities, to protect our children, young and old. So thank you for your support on that. It's a comprehensive package. It was a package of over 75 separate pieces of legislation, and I think about it in 3 separate categories. It was everything from taking dark money out of our politics, making it more transparent for starters. Taking foreign influence out of our politics, ethical standards, the disclosure of tax returns, all the way to ensuring that members of Congress aren't reaping the benefit of becoming lobbyists right after they leave office, and certainly voting. I mean, if we saw anything last year, it was this lack of access to the polls that really caused a lot of harm in North Carolina, which we're going to have a new election because of, certainly in Georgia and elsewhere. So we are pushing and putting pressure on the Senate to take up that bill. It's an important bill. It's an important package for the Senate to vote on. Certainly if that package, for some reason, does not pass the Senate, and there have been some rumors that this has been a power grab. And he's right. When the Majority Leader, Mitch McConnell, says that, he is right. It is a power grab. It's meant to take the power and restore it back to the people. But I will tell you that, we always prepare for all scenarios. And if that package doesn't see the light of day on the Senate floor, we will start passing individual parts of that bill on the House floor to make sure that any combination, any place where we can find common ground, and there is common ground, there is agreement with some folks on the other side of the aisle on some of these reforms. If the package itself is not palatable to everyone, we're going to keep going at them with different portions of that bill. So I look forward to keeping you updated on the status of H.R. 1, but then also as our backup plan in terms of getting some of those important reforms passed one by one.
Hello, I'm Tom Christiano, and I'm at the Volunteer Fair at the Chelmsford Senior Center on March 23rd, 2019, and I'm here with Vicki. How do you pronounce your last name, Vicki?
Turcotte.
Turcotte,
Yes.
who is like the coordinator of this volunteer fair today,
That's
right, Vicki?
That's right.
But a long-time employee of the Chelmsford Library?
Yes, I've been at the library almost 18 years.
Wow, that's fantastic. How do you like working there?
I love it. I love it. It's a wonderful town, and they really support the library.
I think that would have been a nice career for me, too, to be in the library, because, being in the corporate world, it could be so different.
It is.
But I always like the people I talk to in the library.
Yep.
The workers in the library always seem to be nice.
Well, Well, thank you. We try.
Yeah, you see me there a lot, right?
I do, yeah.
I borrow a lot of things at the library.
One of our best customers.
Come in to bother people all the time. Oh, and I always post your events, by the way, in the Chelmsford News Group,
very much, yeah.
which we do, which isn't hard for me, but I like to let people know about things like the volunteer fair. This morning you had a speaker of a children's author
Yes,
at the
yes.
library.
Mhm.
I think tomorrow you're going to have a movie in the afternoon. I'll
Yes,
publish
yes.
that in the morning.
Sure.
Because in the Chelmsford News Group on Facebook, we have over 14,000 subscribers, as you may know, Vicki. I don't know, are you on Facebook, Vicki?
I am. I'm in the
good.
group.
Oh, good.
yes.
So you see all these
I
things.
do.
Are you on my Amos Adams? When I click on Amos Adams, and so that's supposed to go to a lot of library people to let them know. Maybe you're not on
Yeah.
that.
No, I don't think I'm on that
Oh,
one.
maybe there's just
Yeah.
a few people, because I remember Becky, the director, told me,
Yes.
oh, this goes to many people, or Brian did or something. So I didn't have to put the individual names, is what she was saying.
I see.
But anyway, I'm glad you're in the group so you
Yes.
could see at least some of the posts.
Right.
So about the volunteer fair, how long have you been coordinating it, Vicki?
This is my third year coordinating it. It was started over 10 years ago by our previous coordinator for community planning. And that was Kathy Cryan Hicks, who many people know from
Yes,
town.
Kathy, and she's
Yeah,
here today.
She is here today with another group, yeah, but she started it over 10 years ago, and it's been a very popular event. We get 25, 30 groups that come in. They're here, they're eager to talk to people about their volunteer opportunities. They get to talk to each other, which they like too, and we love to see people from the town come out.
And it's one of, I think, my favorite events. I come here and I know so many people, or I talk to so many of the people. I always try to take the photographs of each booth. I did some videos today of
Yes.
some people. So it's a wonderful event for me too. I don't know, but you don't have to volunteer to come here. You
No.
could come here and talk to everybody,
That's right.
see all the opportunities. So maybe when you do have more time, you could volunteer. So I recommend that you come maybe next year. When is it going to be in March again? Probably,
Yes,
right?
yes, it'll be in March on a Saturday, and we always have a snow day that we had to reschedule this year
Which
because
I'm
there was snow.
Glad you did.
You can also come in, you know, even if you're not looking for a volunteer opportunity, you may find an agency that may be of help to you at some point.
That's
So
true.
it's another way to learn about what's available in our town.
Yes, wonderful. Well, is there anything else we should talk about before we go, Vicki? Did we cover everything?
We covered everything about the volunteer fair, I think. We've got our big event coming up in April, the Spring Fest.
Yeah, what's that about?
That is, we didn't do a Winter Fest this year. We decided to do a Spring Fest, and we're going to do a murder mystery program in the library. We're going to have, we're going to serve some wonderful desserts. We're going to have beer and wine for sale, like we do at the Winter Fest, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So you should come out to that.
When, and do you happen to know the date? It's in
It's
April, right?
5th. Yes.
April 5th.
April 5th. It's a Friday
A
night.
Friday night.
Yeah.
You know how I knew something was going on? Because I read the agenda for the Board of Selectmen,
Uh-huh.
and I saw this coming Monday,
Right.
somebody from the library is going to be asking for a one-day
Yes.
beer and wine license. So
Right.
that's how I
Yeah.
said, what's that all about?
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
but thank you. Is there any other event that you might want to mention at the
Oh, we have
library?
so many things going
Yeah.
on. I can't think of just one. We've
Yeah.
always got programs for the kids. We've got that year-long REACT grant where we're bringing in a lot of different issues. This time it's climate change and the environment.
Good.
A lot of things to do with that. My best advice is to go online, check our calendar, and I'm sure there's something for everyone.
Yes, and even if you go to the Chelmsford Library website,
Yes.
right on the first page, on the left column, there is usually the next upcoming events.
right.
Like
That's right.
today,
The next-
tomorrow, the day after. That's where I look just about
Sure.
every morning.
Yeah.
And then I share those events quite often on the Chelmsford
Oh,
News.
that's
So
wonderful.
that's a way, if you want to know kind of what's going on.
One of our most wonderful cheerleaders. We appreciate
Oh,
it.
thank you, my pleasure. Former library trustee, as you
That's
may
right.
know, 3 years I did that. Well, thank you so much, Vicki. Anything else we should mention, or that's pretty much it?
I think that'll do it.
Oh, great. Thank you. Let me see if I could say goodbye with this remote control. Hello, and welcome to the Chelmsford News Show. I'm here at the Chelmsford Volunteer Fair. What are we in, March 22nd or 23rd, 2019,
Yep.
at the Chelmsford Senior Center. And guess what? You can see I'm here with two good friends, Chelmsford Minutemen, Jim and Alan. And they're going to tell us all about the Chelmsford Minutemen and what the history is, etc. Shall we start with Jim? Would that be okay?
Sure.
Tell us about the Chelmsford Minutemen. What is that, and how long has it been in existence?
Okay, so the Chelmsford Minutemen Company has been around since pre-revolutionary days, naturally because all of the towns had to have their own militia in town, just in case there was a threat. The Minutemen were the elite of the militia, so naturally the youngest, the best looking, Al and I, were part of the Minutemen company. We were the ones that were the first responders. Our job was to be ready at a moment's notice to go to whatever the encounter was. So we try to relive history by bringing it back and showing everybody what it was all about.
And the big day, the Patriots Day is coming up, actually. April 19th, 1775, is it?
Yes, 1775.
And that's when they marched
That's when we went to the bridge.
To the Old North Bridge?
Yes.
In fact, Jim is going to be marching there on Patriots Day this year, right?
That's correct. So
every year they do.
Yes, so the Chelmsford Minutemen Company will be marching from Chelmsford to Concord. We start at 4 a.m. so that we can take our leisurely time to get there. And all of the scouts that join us get one of these badges. I'm going to bring this close, a little bit closer. They get this patch that goes on their uniform, their scout outfit and such. And we give name tags, a date tag to go around for each year that they do. We've been doing it since 2013 or 14, I think. So it's been a while since we've been doing it.
Wonderful. Someday I have to do it with you, right?
Someday.
Patriots Day. What day of the week?
So it's actually Monday, the holiday.
Wow.
Some people call it Marathon Monday. We don't. It's Patriots Day.
Beautiful.
Right.
Wow.
And as you see, we are in outfit just like we would be from our sires because let the children guard what the sires have won.
Yes.
That's us.
And thank God we had some Minutemen from Chelmsford helping in those battles,
That's right.
including April 19th, 1775.
So as a matter of fact, it's documented that we sent 110 men to the bridge that day. Over the course of the Revolution, we had 450 men engaged.
That's wonderful.
From Chelmsford.
And 110 from Chelmsford?
From Chelmsford that
On
day.
Patriots Day, April 19th?
That's correct.
That's fantastic. I didn't know that. And we have Alan here today, too. How long have you been in Minutemen, Alan?
You got it.
Oh,
A little over a year and a half.
what? How do you like it so far? How do you like it so far, Alan?
It's been great. It's been a learning experience. It's been pretty exciting. The parades are a lot of fun, and reading the history, and the kids love it.
Are you going to do the Patriots Day March as well on April 19th?
Didn't get to do it yet, so this will be my first one.
You know what one I wouldn't want to do with you guys? Oh, that's okay.
That's all right.
July 4th.
July 4th. It gets a little warm.
Yeah, hot. That's what I was going to say. Oh my God. Sometimes it's so hot on July 4th. I could barely stomach it with my shorts, let alone these outfits.
And we would, of course, be fully dressed, including our coats, because back in colonial times, you would not go outside unless you were fully clothed with a jacket or a sleeved waistcoat, as Alan has, because otherwise you're showing your underwear.
They didn't wear shorts back then.
They had these big long shirts. Yeah.
Remember the old bathing suits in the movies of the 1900s?
That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
Underneath all this.
And the women used to wear these long bathing suits.
And this gets hot, especially when this heats up and you're firing round after round.
In fact, your guns are, how heavy is this? Oh my God, this is like 10 pounds or something.
It weighs about what a gallon of milk weighs.
And
So imagine
how-
carrying that around all
I
day.
would say 10 pounds maybe?
Yeah, they're not
Between 8
10
and 10
pounds.
pounds.
Oh my God, just carrying that. Ladies and gentlemen,
Well, that's why we have
these
stress.
people are doing a lot of sacrifice on the during those parades, especially the 4th of July when it's so hot. So here's at the front. Oh, you also
So
have
Tom, let me present this to you. This is, the Chelmsford Minutemen are part of the 6th Middlesex Regiment. And Tom, I'm going to present this coin to you. Not everybody gets one of these.
Thank you very much.
Helping us to bring history to life.
Thank you very much. I love history, and especially the history of Chelmsford. I'm on the Chelmsford Historical Society board, as you may know, so I love the history of the town. You guys are doing a great job.
Thank you.
As Minutemen, Chelmsford Minutemen, we all appreciate everything that you do and everything that the historical Minutemen did, especially during the Revolution, during that war. If they didn't win, what would have happened to us today? We'd be saluting the Queen or whatever, or curtsying or whatever they do. Thank God we won. Well, thank you very much for joining us on the Chelmsford News Show. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Tom.
They're in red coats.
Yeah, red coats, right. Thank you. Hello, I'm Tom Christiano, and I'm here at the Chelmsford Senior Center during the volunteer fair. And I'm here with a student from Chelmsford High School. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Good. And what's your name again, please?
My name is Serena. I'm from the Chelmsford High School Eco Club, and we try to make sure our school is a greener place by recycling.
Oh, wonderful. And you have about the Townwide Cleanup?
Yep. Yep. This year, the Eco Club is in charge of organizing the Townwide Cleanup as well as publicizing it. It takes place on April 20th. It's a Saturday, all day, and basically anyone can participate. What you have to do is go to the Chelmsford Solid Waste and Recycling Center and just pick up your gloves and yellow bags to pick up any trash that you see on the road.
Wonderful. And you know what? I always ask people too, if you don't get to pick up the official bag, just to go around your own neighborhood to clean up as best you could. You know what I mean? So
Yes.
it doesn't have to be official, but they could clean up and then they could put it in their own trash bag if they like. So, but having a town-wide cleanup is very important, and we like to do that. So you're in this, is it called an eco club that you run in Chelmsford, or eco?
It's called, the official name is Ecology, but that's a little long, so we
it's
just call it
ecology,
Eco,
yeah.
yes.
Do you study biology or chemistry or anything like that?
Right now in school, I'm currently taking chemistry,
Oh, wonderful.
but I've done biology as well, so.
And are you a senior? Or, yeah?
Nope, a sophomore.
Really? Oh, you're very mature for your age. Wonderful.
Thank you.
So it's very important to take care of the environment, right? That's why you are doing this?
Yes.
Is there anything else you'd like to say on the video before we go?
Yep. So while you could just place the trash that you find on the roadside in your regular trash bags, we do have the yellow bags, and they will not count towards your trash limit in case you are concerned about that. And you can just place them right next to your trash bins when the trash people come to pick it up.
Wonderful. Well, thank you very much for talking with us today.
Thank you.
Thank you. So I'm here at the Chelmsford Senior Center with my good friend Sandie Rainey, who's one of the managers of the Chelmsford News Group, and today she's here as a volunteer for Roberts Field. Right, Sandie?
Yes. Hi, Tom. How you doing today?
Good, thanks. Good.
Glad to see you out taking pictures of everybody. I'm here today representing the Friends of Roberts Field, and we are asking everyone to go to the Facebook page, the Friends of Roberts Field. There's a link there. Please click on the link to sign up to get the state to release a lot of money to finish the park. You can email them as well. This is a list of everything that we need to have finished at the park. Not just the park, but the entire playground. All these things we need the money released. So by going to the Friends of Roberts Field Facebook page and clicking on a link to sign the petition, and if you could also send an email to the state, we would greatly appreciate that. So again, I'm also with Chelmsford Mass Rocks, and we're going to be having a whiskey barrel at the playground for kids as well, to take a rock or leave a rock. But more than that, right now my heart is in the Friends of Roberts Field, because we have so much more work we want to accomplish here. And we can do it if you help us by signing and sending a letter to the state.
Well, thank you very much, Sandie.
Thank you, Tom.
Thanks for
Appreciate
everything
it.
you do.
Thank you. Chelmsford rocks.